Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday, and all of our guests today are brought to you by our friends in Campbell River, Quinsam Communications Group, connecting people through technology. Just ahead of John Walton, play-by-play voice of the Washington Capitals, in town to take on the Canucks tomorrow at Rogers Arena. Jeremy and Langley texting in and out is way overrated, Ryan. Shake Shack blows it out of the water. You need the toppings. I haven't been to either, but I know you disagree with Jeremy and Langley. I'm sure John Walton wants to hear all about that. John Walton joining us now, radio voice of the Capitals, and they play the Canucks tomorrow at Rogers Arena. Right. Late goal last night, or midway through the third period, and the Capitals end up beating the Kraken down in Seattle 2-1 last night. John, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Doing very well. Nice to be back in Vancouver, and a beautiful bit of weather we're getting today, too, so we're going to take that.
So my first question to you was going to be, how's the rebuild going? Mantha, Edmondson, Kuznetsov, they're all gone, and then I get caught up to date with the Capitals. You win last night. The Capitals are 1 point out of a playoff spot. What's going right for the Washington Capitals these days?
It's been an interesting road trip, and as we get ready for tomorrow night here in Vancouver, this is going to be stop number 4 on a 5-game Western swing, where you've got the Canucks, a President's Trophy contender. You've got Edmonton, a President's Trophy contender, baby, the way things are going there. And you're in facing good teams. And, oh, by the way, Winnipeg, who certainly is in the conversation for one of the best teams in the league. So daunting task, need points, and need a lot of help out of town. So after losing in Winnipeg and not scoring, and McDavid and Draisaitl blowing the doors off in a 7-2 win in Game 2, you're thinking, okay, this is not going well. But the game in Seattle last night was fantastic. They did exactly in the back half of a 2-2 when Seattle was sitting there waiting for you, and you managed to win a game and getting immense help out of town. It is not exactly a race for the playoffs in the East right now. I would call it a crawl, because you've got Detroit, who's lost 7 in a row. You've got the Islanders, who got shut out by Buffalo last night. They've suddenly hit the skids a little bit. And the door is open for Washington because they get the win. So we had said that for the Caps to get back in it, especially post-trade deadline, you were going to need some help. They've gotten all kinds of help, and they took advantage of it last night. So now against Vancouver, and certainly in Calgary when they get there on Monday, you've got to get points, and it's no easy task playing the Canucks here, of course, especially on Saturday night. But if they can come up with more points on this trip and get any more help out of town, they're in a place that I'm not sure we thought they'd be. They could be inside the playoff picture before they go home, and if that's the case, the kids are carrying the day, and some of the lineup has gelled together post-trade deadline, even with the guys that have departed here. So, yeah, all in all, it's been pretty good lately. We'll see how it goes here in Vancouver.
38 years old, 18 goals this season. Alex Ovechkin, 54 goals behind Wayne Gretzky. Where's Alex's game at right now, John?
It's fallen in a little bit better for him in the second half, a shooting percentage at an all-time low in the first half, where it was a tough start for him, but at the same time, he wasn't getting a lot of puck luck either. And some of those goals are starting to go in. It's been a little quieter lately, but, all in all, at 38, he's still getting the puck in the net. And, it's him and TJ Oshie, who had a goal last night thanks to a misplay by Joey Decord in Seattle. He's been out of the lineup, and now he's back. And, you've got the veterans who are helping, and then you've got the youngsters who have stepped up in a big way. Connor McMichael with 2 goals in 2 games coming into Vancouver, and Henrik Lapierre came back from Hershey, and Ivan Miroshnichenko has come up and delivered a couple of goals, a really pretty one in Edmonton the other night. So the young players with some speed and even some size, Miroshnichenko likes to hit, and we've seen that. So it's been enough to turn the tide a little bit, and getting a win they badly needed in tough circumstances in Seattle. Just trying to keep it going here.
Hey, John, Ethan Bear, 24 games I see has played for you guys since you signed him, and obviously he had a long layoff because of his injury at the World Hockey Championships. How has Ethan been?
He's been all right. He's been in and out. He didn't play last night. He's been more or less, I'd say, a third pair D in coming in. He signed for next year, so he's got a little bit of runway, and I think he's been serviceable for this team. And I think, being able to fit in kind of on the fly. I mean, he didn't come in here until mid-season, so I think it's always tough to kind of catch a moving train. But he's certainly been fine. I mean, he a lot of times he's played as recently as in Edmonton, and he's been in more than he's been out. The Caps have had some bang-ups on defense. Losing Joel Edmondson will probably open the door a little bit for him to see more playing time. But the Caps only have 7D here, so I think it'll be a little bit of a rotation. We've seen Alexeyev out of the lineup at times, and Bear's gone in. So a little bit of mixed mastering back there, but I would suspect that I don't know if he gets in against the Canucks, but I would think he would be back in the lineup pretty soon.
John, you mentioned TJ Oshie. He's going to play game number 1,000 tomorrow in Vancouver. He is a kid not far from here, Everett, Washington. Played a lot of his minor hockey in Vancouver at tournaments. Boy, this guy's had one heck of a career. What is it, 9 years in Washington? He's become a mainstay there as well.
Yeah, I think when you look back on trades, not just for Brian McClellan, but in Capitals history, one of the best trades the team has ever pulled off. Troy Brouwer and Phoenix Copley went the other way, and Copley ended even coming back to the Caps organization a year later. So a guy who could play in any era. He's had some injury woes in the last couple of years, but a gamer. And to watch him, especially last night, he was so candid and funny in the room after the game with, being on McMichael's line. He's out there for the game winner. He is, gets a fortunate bounce as Joey Decord put it off his leg and it fell back into the net to get the Caps on the board. Another power play goal, and power plays were nowhere for Washington in the first half. They were dead last in the league, probably as late as U.S. Thanksgiving, and now almost up to 20th, and really good in the last few weeks. TJ's been a big part of that. He just parks himself in the bumper there, and it's been a long road to get here. He should have probably been to 1,000 before now with the injuries he's had, but I know it means a lot to him. To have 999 in Washington State meant a lot, and certainly this is a part of the world, as you said. This is home country for him, so to be able to do it in Vancouver. I know he would want to do it in D.C., but Seattle and Vancouver are pretty good places for him to do it, and we're looking forward to seeing that tomorrow.
What about your first-year head coach, Spencer Carberry, who's from Victoria, not far from here as well? How has he been in his rookie season as a head coach?
Absolutely fantastic. One of the great young minds in the game, just incredibly personable. The players love him, and a tactician that I think he's one of those guys that you just get the feeling that, I think of almost like a John Cooper in Tampa Bay where, you just kind of knew coming in, this guy's going to be around for a while. And he just has, for someone who is the youngest coach in the NHL, he has a lot of personality that he brings to it. He's very upfront and honest with the media, which of course we love. And to be able to, have the relationship that he has with the players. The Capitals tweet out a lot of his post-game speeches in the win, and it's just, he's all energy all the time. And, it doesn't matter if he's just going for coffee in Vancouver. I saw him this morning walking out to Timmy's this morning. It's, he's always thinking, loving the game, and I think it's just infectious. And it's not just him either. This coaching staff is one of the best I've ever been around. You got Kirk Muller, who's running the power play. You've got, Scotty Allen, Mitch Love, who, of course, has spent a lot of time in and around this area. As a group, they are good people. They are tremendous coaches, and Caps are going in the right direction. They've got to retool after what was an unbelievable 15-year run at being in the top of the league just about every single year and one of the first teams to clinch playoff spots. It's not that kind of era right now. The Caps are kind of retooling here on the fly, but I think they are in good hands with the staff that they have here.
And very quickly, John, I mentioned his name earlier. He scored last night for Carolina. I don't know what details you can get into, but was it, and it must have been very difficult for everybody with the Capitals organization, was it time for Evgeny Kuznetsov, despite all the success, to move on?
Yeah, it was time. And, listen, we love him. He's, a guy that, he's had his struggles, and that's pretty well documented, but he's also got infectious laughter. And for me, the biggest goal in Capitals history forever and always will be getting out past Pittsburgh in the second round in 2018. And I saw him on the loading dock after that when we left Pittsburgh, and I said, thank you for the greatest call I'm ever going to be able to have. He just hugged me and said, you're welcome, and kept moving. I mean, that's him. He's funny. I think you can see that smile. I'm really glad to see the smile back. We got the goal the other night for Carolina. And, unless it's coming against Washington, I don't think anybody's ever going to be upset about that here. We wish him nothing but the best, and really happy to see that he's doing well.
John, above and beyond, we thank you so much for this. Appreciate it.
Of course, guys. Thanks for having me.